What's going on, YouTube? I am Germ here, and today we are going to be talking about knives, as you can see up on the screen. I know recently and really throughout the whole history of this channel, since this channel is still so new, we've been talking mostly about stickers, mostly about Paris. We've had some videos about guns, some videos about cases, all that good stuff, but we have not gotten to dive very deep into knives just yet, and today we're going to be doing not a full deep dive, but we're going to be, pulling up some spreadsheets, looking at how knives have done over the past couple years, and hopefully trying to determine which knives might be good investments going forward in the future, maybe which knives to stay away from, and what I think about just knives as an asset class or as an investment overall going forward in the future. I think this should be pretty interesting. Obviously, like I said, we haven't gotten to talk about knives a ton, but I want to try my best to become a full expert of the entire CS market, and knives are obviously a very, very integral part of that, and knives are also very interesting. Got to put the cat down real quick. Knives are also very interesting because they're not only, very, very popular with investors, but they're obviously just very popular with people who play the game as well. Knives are one of the easiest and flashiest ways to really show off an inventory or an item or whatever. So we're going to get into all of that. But first, just wanted to, plug my cash trading business, I guess, for lack of a better word, right now. Off the rip, obviously, I have started cash trading. If you are interested in turning some of your CSGO items, skins, whatever, into cash safely, quickly, efficiently, easily, everything, definitely hit me up over at Twitter at I_am_germ. If you don't have Twitter, Discord, Steam, YouTube, whatever, we can figure something out. We've already been getting some cash trades done. It's been very exciting. And it's a great way to help support me, my channel, and my content, especially while we're still small. With that being said, here we go. This is what we are looking at. This is the full spreadsheet that I put together. Now, yes, these prices are based off of August 16th, so some stuff's going to have changed. Also, fair warning, some of this stuff could be a little bit off, a little bit inaccurate. It should be ballpark pretty good, but knife data can be a little bit difficult to find sometimes. There's not as many sales, so finding little freaking dots on the thing can be a little bit hard and annoying sometimes. Also, I've been traveling a little bit over the past week, so some of this I was doing at airport, some of this I was doing on like 2 hours of sleep. It might be a little bit wonky, maybe not as spot on as some of my other spreadsheets, but overall I think it should be pretty good. And what we're looking at here is knife prices from 8/16/23, the day that I put this spreadsheet together, and then backing that up 6 months to February 16th of 2023, backing that up 6 more months to 8/16 of 2022, 2/16/2022, and 8/16 of 2021. This is going to give us data for 6-month returns, 12, 18, and 24-month returns for all the different knives. These are vanilla knives. Now, some people I know are already going to be in the comments like, oh my god, vanilla knives suck. Why are you doing vanilla knives? This is so stupid. You should have done this. You should have done this skin or blah, 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 blah. I don't really care. I think vanilla knives is a good way to look at it. I know vanilla knives are definitely used as a very, very common investment because there are so many trash finishes on knives. There's so many finishes that people just don't want, and there's just so many different finishes overall, and obviously people are going to want different things. Now, obviously there are some amazing finishes and really, really highly sought after finishes that can totally add to an investment, and maybe one day we can go through all the good finishes or good patterns and all that crazy stuff. But just looking at the vanilla knives themselves, vanilla knives are still pretty good investments overall, and they just kind of control some variables for us overall as well, so we can just look at the different knife silhouettes or whatever, for lack of a better word, and see how they've done, how knives in general have done over the past couple of years, and how different knives have done over the past couple of years. So overall, just looking back 2 years ago, just about to today, we can see that the most expensive knife was the butterfly knife. It's always been one of the most popular knives in the game. Obviously, it is an OG knife. I'm going to try and pull it up on Steam right now, but butterfly knife is great. It's a classic. It's crazy. It has the awesome animations. It has, it's very, very flashy. It's very exciting. You got a butterfly knife, you want to let everybody in the game know about it. Everybody in the game, I'm sure, is going to know about it. But this was the king of kings. We also had the skeleton knife, which I believe was relatively new at the time at 8/19. But, some other knives at the top, Karambit, M9 bayonet. These things are all very good. Talon even up there. And yeah, these knives were some of the most expensive, but butterfly was really king. If we fast forward a little bit to 2/16 of 2022, butterfly still at the top, skeleton still there, but now we still have pretty much similar top 6 with Karambit, M9 Bayonet, Bayonet, and Talon, but now the Nomad has passed up the Classic. Nomad went on a little bit of a run here from 167 to 302, and Classic didn't really, move as much. But so far, top 5 or 6 still stayed the same. We fast forward to just a year ago now at August 16th of 2022. And we will see that things have changed a little bit. The Karambit has now passed the Skeleton, rightfully so. Obviously, the Karambit should be ahead of the Skeleton, if the list is going to make sense. But now we got Butterfly, Karambit, Skeleton, M9 Bayonet, Bayonet, Talon, and now Nomad moving up as well, passing up the Classic on this list. Pretty interesting. Fast forward to February 16th of 2023. Like I said, these might not all be totally accurate too. These are mostly Steam community market prices as well. And there's a million different marketplaces, and depending on what exact day or what exact time or whatever you check, some of these things could be, a little bit different. But now on 2/16 of 2023, we have the Butterfly, Karambit, and then the M9 Bayonet passing up the Skeleton as well. Skeleton continues to fall down the list. Bayonet, Talon, Nomad, Stiletto, Classic. Stiletto now starting to pop up there a little bit. And then if we get to where we are today, these were the best Steam community market prices I could find. Again, stuff like Butterfly and M9 Bayonet Vanilla and Karambit Vanilla, they're not selling on the Steam market all the time. But what is interesting most recently, and I've been seeing this more and more all over the place, is that the M9 Bayonet is now seemingly more popular and more expensive overall on average than the Karambit. But we still have the Butterfly knife as a top dog, M9 Bayonet, Karambit, Skeleton, Bayonet, Talon, Nomad, Stiletto moving up. Flip has been doing very well recently. But I think one of the main reasons why Karambit is starting to, maybe not keep pace with like the M9 Bayonet as much recently is that the Karambit seems to be getting a lot of competition with Talon, because obviously the Talon and Karambit look very similar and stuff like that. But people just are really, really loving the M9 Bayonet, and it's been kind of really shooting up the charts recently. But what does this mean in terms of returns? That's what we're here for. Let's look. In the past 6 months, from 8/16 of 2023 to February 16th of 2023, in that 6-month time span, what has done the best? Very interestingly enough, none of those top dogs. The best knife investments over the past 6 months, at least vanilla knives from the numbers that I'm tracking, number one has been the Flip knife, which has more than doubled in the past 6 months, according to the numbers that I'm looking at. We have the Flip knife, the Ursus, and number 3, the M9 Bayonet, even being one of these higher tier knives. My data says that this has gone from $1,049 to $1,775. Also the Bayonet, the Gut knife, these have all done very, very well. But you can also see here when you start to look at this, yeah, the Flip knife has had more than doubled in the last 6 months. But other than that, 1.77 down to 1.31 between the Ursus and the Karambit. Yeah, Butterfly has not done that good over the past 6 months. It's been the very, very last one. But overall, 1.7 to 1.3, most of these knives have done pretty similarly. It's like Flip knife has been an outlier on the top side. Butterfly has been an outlier on the bottom side. But other than that, it hasn't really mattered what knife you've had. They've all done pretty similarly, and they've all done pretty well. Having a 1.5x return in 6 months, maybe some people are going to be like, oh, that's not that good when you're looking at other CSGO items that have gone crazy. But just understand, in like the investing world or in the real world when people are dealing with money, 1.5x in 6 months is very, very crazy. We can take a look at the 1 year returns real quick over the last year, and still the Flip knife remains supreme, but which is actually crazy, up 3.4x in the past year. Definitely a big outlier. We have Stiletto, Gut knife, Navaja, M9 Bayonet that have all done really well. But again, the differences between all these knives in the middle, yeah, 2.55 for Stiletto is great, and that's a lot better than the 1.57 for Paracord, but you'll see a lot of these are in the 2, 1.9, 1.9, 1.9, 1.8, 2.3, 2.3. A lot of these are in a very, very similar range where, it doesn't really seem like the difference in the knives is all that crazy. You might hit the big winner, you might hit the big loser, but really if you're picking any kind of vanilla knife, from what I'm seeing, it seems like you're going to be in a similar ballpark with your returns, even though some people will say, oh, I like the Falchion better, or Shadow Daggers are trash, or Karambit's better, or whatever. Like, it seems like most of the knives are pretty much moving together. Obviously, we can look at the 18-month returns here and see that, hey, Flip knife still absolutely killing it at 3.79, really kind of standing above the rest. Here, we're starting to see a little bit more separation. We have the M9 Bayonet up 3x in the past 18 months, Stiletto up 3x, some things up 2.5. like the Ursus and Gut Knife and Nomad. We have some things that haven't quite doubled in the last 18 months, like Huntsman, like Survival, Shadow Daggers, Bowie, Classic, Skeleton, Butterfly, and Paracord are all the knives that have done under 2. But again, a lot of these in the 2.3, 2.2, 2, 1.9, 1.8. Yeah, some ones that have done quite well, but a lot of ones that have done, just pretty good. And then finally, if we look at the last 2 years, still from the numbers I'm looking at, the flip knife has been the best, kind of surprisingly. I don't know. But that's what's been kind of killing it as of late. Stiletto, again, definitely one that I've seen rising in popularity recently. M9 bayonet, Karambit bayonet, these things doing very, very good. Butterfly kind of down at the bottom in all of these different categories, probably because it's just been so expensive throughout the whole history. It's just kind of a consistent, slow grower. But again, none of these knives are doing bad. Every knife has been in the positive over 6 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years. Everything's growing. Everything's doing good. In the past 2 years, the top dogs have been about a 4x. A lot of these guys have been in the 3 to 2x range, but any knife, any vanilla knife you bought in the last 2 years has gone up at least right around 1.5x, but a lot of these are in the doubling in 2 years range, which is really, really good. Again, in the normal investing in money world and all that stuff. But here are all the numbers. Here's all the kind of things that I, went over. If you want to look and see a different one of these charts or the different returns and all that stuff, obviously you can pause the video and take a look at it. But what I learned from knives for the most part is it seems like a lot of vanilla knives are pretty consistent, pretty slow growers. Again, these returns are great, but in the world of CSGO, a lot of these returns would be considered slow, and really they are when you're looking at other items and relatively and stuff like that. But for people who just want to set it and forget it, or, I want to come back to CSGO in 2 years or 3 years or 5 years and just hopefully consistently grow my portfolio and not have to really do anything too active, it definitely seems like knives can be a great choice. And it seems like, if you pick 2 or 3 of your favorite knives, you might have some big winners, but overall, you're not really going to be losing out on too much because you're going to probably end up with a lot of these knives in the middle. The most popular knives are not necessarily the ones killing it. You really have to look for the ones that are growing in popularity, and it's hard to figure out what the next trend's going to be or what the next kind of fad is going to be or flavor of the month. So again, I wouldn't waste too much brain power trying to figure those things out. Overall, the Karambit, M9 bayonet, some of these big popular knives, they've done very, very well over the past 2 years. Even though they maybe haven't done the absolute best, they're still pretty safe. Like I said, you can get in all the different wears and patterns and all that stuff, and that's a whole nother animal and a whole nother beast. But I just first want to start by at least looking at the vanilla knives, having this information at my disposal now, being able to dive in and look at these numbers. But what I'm really interested in is, again, these 6 months numbers where it looks like knives have been doing very, very well recently. A lot of knives having about a 1.5x return over the past 6 months, and over the past year, a lot of knives around the doubling category, which definitely makes knives an interesting investment to me. But it also seems like a place where you can make some money, make some profit, and then put them into knives to kind of secure those profits and have them grow over time as you're maybe doing some crazier, riskier stuff with some other parts of your portfolio. But overall, knives are very, very interesting. I'm glad that I dove into this. And I guess praise the flip knife. I don't know. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.